All right, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Mr. Jason Schroeder coming at us live.
Good morning, everyone. I'm still giggling from Jesus's intro, from Jesse's intro. Yeah, welcome to the Changemakers YouTube live stream. If you want to suck that sign on. Oh my gosh! So I'm Jason Schroeder. Super happy to be here. I'm Felipe's understudy, in case anybody didn't know. I have a wonderful wife, 11 kids. That's one and one. I can prove it to you. So let me ask you a question, Felipe. What do you call a cow with no legs?
I don't know. What do you call a cow with no legs, Jason?
Ground beef. What do you call a cow with 2 legs?
Jason, what do you call a cow with 2 legs? I don't know.
Lean beef. What do you call a dog with no legs?
You don't call it.
Yeah, he won't come. It doesn't matter. He won't come.
Hey, people off stage, relax. Jason's got to.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my proof that I have 11 kids. Those were some dad jokes for you. So I love continuous improvement because I really think that's what heaven's going to be like. We're going to be continuously improving throughout eternity, and that's my kind of life. What excites me about the future? The day when every job throughout the U.S. has nice restrooms for the craft. That's what excites me about the future. People can find me. I'm the owner of Elevate Construction. So elevateconstructionist.com or on our podcast, Elevate Construction Podcast. And really excited to be here. Let's go.
All right, let's go. Let's bring the people back on the stage. Here they all come, ladies and gentlemen. They're all here now. All right, now it's the time. Say hello to y'all. Get used to all being here together for a second.
It's like the Brady Bunch, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to say I came up through the craft just like Jesse, but I never had a crack. Just FYI. So I thought that was super funny.
Yep. I charge extra for that.
That's beautiful. And so people in the audience, we've got the ability, all these lovely people are here. We're going to banter back and forth a bit, but we want to encourage you to use the power of your fingers in the YouTube chat and bring your questions forward. We'll bring your questions on stage. Ask them anything. Like you can ask Jesse if he's ever tasted lead.
Oh my goodness, that's a beautiful question. Yeah, so Dad had like the lead tools, and if y'all have never melted bars of lead, it's the funnest thing in the world, and you can make all kinds of stuff. Don't let it fall on your sneakers because it'll burn through. But I've got an even better dangerous substance to play with. We used to take the mercury out of my dad's gauges because he used because lead's cool. Mercury's even cooler, and we pour it out and move it around with our fingers and do all kinds of stuff. Yeah, we didn't really eat it. And Dad, when we didn't have lighter fluid, because
hey Jesse, you're giving us plumbers a bad name again, man. The crack's coming out, bro.
My bad. That was a long time ago.
Hold on. He can't leave you in that cliffhanger. When you didn't have lighter fluid, what'd you do?
Oh, okay. So back in the day when we didn't have lighter fluid, Dad would bust out the primer and throw it on the charcoal and maybe some 2x4s off the job site to get the freaking barbecue going, baby. Now you know where this energy comes from.
See, that's what we had the no waste right there.
It was the pressure treated lumber that he used too,
yes,
right?
Yes, it gave it a very unique flavor.
Do we have insurance for this in case somebody sues us for those comments?
Yeah, don't do that. Don't use that.
Are we
try this at home. I think that's all we got to really put on them is children, don't try this at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 10-4.
Lovely. All right, so
if you're going to do it, call Jesse.
Call me.
Yeah,
right.
Call the expert.
Call the expert. So we've got one of the things, some of you answer the questions well. I think let's go back to Spencer, because you brought up a comment in your intro and you saved some time. You said what you're really excited about in the future because we got nowhere to go but up. Can you elaborate on how down are we?
Well, and I might have painted a picture that's stark and the world is falling. There's been a lot of great stuff that's happened in the past, decade plus in construction, and things have already started going up that hill. There's lots of statistics that we can talk about, projects that are on time versus not, and where there's a lot of improvement there. We could talk about alcoholism, stress, suicide rate, all the things that we haven't been talking about except for the past maybe 5-10 years. Yeah. And those are the things that when we start looking at lean and the principles that are brought to us from lean, respect for people and the like, that's the thing that's exciting, is that it's really starting to catch on. And that's the fire that is accelerating the growth in the construction industry in my mind.
I love that. Let's cue up some music while we think about that. Let me go back to Jennifer, and just for a second, Jennifer, you've been practicing facilitation. For those of you that don't know, Jennifer is a master facilitator. I've gotten to see her work in a couple of sessions, and I just want to know, Jennifer, has this ever happened to you when you've asked a question in a big construction group?
Absolutely. Yes. Which is okay, because I think when you and people the more people that repeat my classes realize I am the most comfortable person being uncomfortable. So when it's quiet and everyone's looking like, okay, no one's going to talk, and I'm like, no one's going to talk. We're just going to stand here and look at each other. And I think they're starting to realize, like, she's not moving on. She's not going to keep going. Like, the silence does not bother me. And so it's cool because there's some that are in there and they're just looking at each other like, you better talk, you better say something, because if you don't say anything, she's just going to stand there and stare at you. So
I'm sure that your energy makes them react, and I'm sure.
Yes, I think that's the biggest. And again, personally, just for the facilitation piece, Felipe, this is important to me. It's so easy, and I'm in so many places where there's so many amazing people in a room, and people will throw something out there, and because they're uncomfortable with that silence and that, like, not wanting to pressure somebody or making that, making it a little bit uncomfortable, or that, kind of a little bit of tense, they'll just jump right in and they'll either answer the question or they will move on. And I'm like, no, the power was right there. You just left it there. So.
Hey, Jen, I often say in those awkward moments is growth, right?
Yes.
It's like that get outside your comfort zone mentality. And as soon as you're outside your comfort zone, we start growing.
Yes.
And psychological safety comes in along with that, kind of feeling free to speak up. But I'd like to, I guess, challenge a group for
Yeah, do it.
Wait, what did you say, Adam?
He's going to bring the challenge.
So I just wanted to challenge the group with a little bit of silence, and it didn't work, Jason.
Jason just lost.
But seriously, I can't remember what comedian it is, but there's one that will do something like that, and he'll say, don't worry, I'll wait. And I use that a lot leading into this.
All right, Adam, you got it. You got this, buddy.
Hey, hopefully I hear that in about an hour at my son's all-star baseball game when he's hitting bombs, which is why I'm a little overdressed here for the play.
Yeah, shout out to the little Hoots. It's going to go out there and run the bases.
Good.
Little Kai Hoots, nonetheless. A little named after change. Huh?
Okay.
I like that. Yeah.
That's called practicing what you preach, Adam.
I also had one pregnancy, 2 daughters. By the way,
nice.
Very lean of me, but enough of my family life.
I can't compare to production.
That's efficiency.
I can't compete with Jason Schroeder. I'm just glad we didn't get 11 dad jokes. Huh?
I did one piece flow, one at a time. So Adam overproduced. I did one at a time.
But I want to put Jason on the spot, since Adam just kind of brought it back to you, Jason. I was talking to Hal this week. And Hal told me he remembers hearing a Jason Schroeder quote. And his quote was, he could put it in the chat or if he wants to, but he told me, he said, Jason has said publicly that CPM schedules are killing people.
Oh my gosh. You're killing me with that. Charlie Dunn called me yesterday and told me to calm down with my emotional CPM rhetoric. So I've had to repent of my behavior with that. So it's like an addict, Felipe. You can't put it right in front of me to say something about it.
Down for you, Jason. This is for you to go. Either you or Spencer. You got to tell me more about this CPM people.
Charlie Dunn hasn't called me, so I'll continue to say.
Oh my gosh.
CPM is killing people.
Yeah, but your name's on the book too.
So, Spencer, tell us why is CPM killing people?
Sorry. So honestly, I've been doing a little research within the sphere of influence that I'm around, and I'm thinking we probably need to get some sort of poll together across the nation. We know all these statistics of, projects are behind, and we have, stress, alcoholism, depression, the things that we've talked about. Honestly, I've just been asking, and I keep hearing the same thing of, well, we feel like we're being asked to do what we can't do, and the plan isn't really achievable. And I've noticed that most times when we're looking at CPM, if you take it to, a trade contractor or even an owner or anyone other than someone that has a lot of time understanding CPM, because it's a tool that takes a lot of effort to understand how to use, how to read, how to analyze, and what to do based on that information. And so the number of people that can understand how to use it is small, but the number of people that need to know how to use it is very, very, very big. And so if we're just looking at usability, it's a tool that the masses don't understand and can't use. You look at this huge list of data. It's like, here's your schedule, right? Well, filter it out. Okay. Well, even still, it's not a super great visualization of time and space. And so we're seeing that time and time again. Just because there's this huge, big network of activities, it gives us that false security that something, we have it under control. When in reality, we probably don't.
Oh, snap. We got the Jason, go ahead and take this, but from the chat, my good friend, Mark Jones, Charlie also said CPM is blind to space in a talk he did for Kurt last year. So,
yeah. So that's I agree. He told me to stop. When we were, Spencer and I were writing the second edition of Elevating Construction Tact Planning, and man, it's a jam. We've learned so much from the Germans and the French and from Felipe and everybody. But I wrote in there, using true CPM is immoral and unethical, but using builder CPM is probably okay as long as you eventually switch to tact and scrum and the other systems. Yeah, and so I came up with a good analogy for us if you want. So Felipe, censor this if it's like, no, we can't say this, but airport urinals. I've kind of got everybody.
I didn't hear anything you said, Jason.
Yeah, airport urinals. You go to an airport if you're a guy. I'm sorry, Jennifer, but you go in there and you look below the urinal, and there's a huge puddle of mess. I won't even tell you what it is. And it's like, how in the world have we been like existing in the United States for like the last over 200 years? I don't math. I don't know how many years we've been here, and we still don't know how to build urinals, right? And so you could say, and I'll be quick with this, you could say, just like with the CPM users do, well, the people are using it wrong, right? But yet we still have a bunch of puddles of mess, right? But there's a certain type of urinal that's a bowl shape, and it comes up and it's beautiful. It's tilted backwards. You can't mess it up. You would have to be like aiming 90 degrees to like mess this up. And literally, when I go into those bathrooms, it's beautiful. There's no mess on the floor. There's no friction in using it. It's a pleasant experience. Like, it's just really nice. And so what happened there? The process took care of the people. And so that's my little analogy. It's like,
I love that.
These are the text messages that we all get at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning from Jason Schroeder, a big pile of mess underneath the urinal traveling through the airport.
You're not first.
So I think so. In my opinion, and again, in an effort to be very serious about this issue, because it is something that's important when we're talking about something killing people and abusing drugs and alcohol and that sort of thing. Professor Dunn is right. I mean, Charlie is, there is and I think we're all saying the same thing. There is a right way to perform CPM scheduling. And then there is a common practice of how it is performed on construction projects. And we need to distinguish the two when we're saying CPM is garbage and CPM is killing people, because proper CPM is not killing people.
Just one thing though, Adam, and I know we need to move on.
Hold on 1 second, Jason. I'm going to interrupt you, Adam. Let's welcome Justin to the stage. Justin, go ahead and come off of mute and say hi to everybody.
Hey, everyone. How's everyone doing this morning? Sorry for the lag on my end. I couldn't get connected to my internet.
All good. We're glad you're here, Justin. Tell people briefly who you are, and then we'll throw you into this fire hornet's nest of urinal CPM conversation.
Oh, that sounds great. I like it. Justin Kaidel with Sunbelt Rentals. Been in the industry for 16 years, and like a couple people on this call, I started off in the plumbing industry, so trades, and that is something that I definitely take a little bit of pride in. And I'll throw this one out there for you to kind of throw into the mix, since it's a cesspool, right? Adam, you might like this. What are the 8 deadly sins of waste?
CPM.
Huh?
That's funny. If this is a test, I can go. Is there a prize?
Oh, I mean, we can make a prize. That works. We could do something like that. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. We got to get you. I'll send you a razor so you can get as clean as I am.
Look at that.
So I'm overproducing over here. Overproduction creates an inventory of hair, and when you have an inventory of hair, then you have to move and touch it and like rub things out of it, which causes additional transportation to the restroom. To go ahead and take care of it and comb it, which causes defects because you're not paying attention to other things. The defects creates overprocessing, and overprocessing creates waiting time. And waiting time, it was all a waste because we could have just used the genius of the team and just shaved my head, right? So like, there you go. You have all the 8 wastes right there. I got to get points for that one. Come on. That was good.
But Justin's the judge, since he asked the question. How many points do we award him, Justin?
Winner, for sure. That means winner.
He doesn't care.
I speak Justin. That means winner.
That means winner. Okay.
All right.
That was Paul Akers style all day long.
Go ahead. You got it.
That is the only way. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jennifer.
Yeah, no. So I have a question before because we're CPM. I'm sure is going to be throughout this whole thing. But so I was throughout the whole thing. But I just want one more question because I would love perspective from everyone. So facilitating an alignment meeting, and again, I
got most of that if you can hear me, and that was great, Jason.
Thank you. Oh, there's a delay. Go ahead.
Quit interrupting. Stop. So facilitate. So work for a general contractor, 75 years, got a lot of amazing superintendents that have been building and being very successful. So let's start there. So going through alignment meetings, obviously we have people coming in that have been building a certain way. Last planner is obviously starting to spread, and weekly work plan and our boards and things like that. Question that got posed to me when we're talking about it from a very tenured, very successful superintendent. Jennifer, I have a problem with the boards. When we do them and we get our PPC and we're at 80%, that's great. But what if our critical path stuff's in that 20%? Okay, so when you get past that, obviously you can break down how we get the stuff on the board, and then obviously we can go all the way back to the critical path, the CPM schedule, all that. So when you get posed something that in the middle of a room from someone who's been very successful, what is your response?
I have a thought, and mind you, trade partner is my entire history. So the first thought I have is, how are you defining, or how was the critical path established? Like, is it the preconceived notion that we put on the paper 3 years ago before we actually started the damn job? And has that been adjusted? If the answer to that is yes, you're fine because you don't even know what the hell's on critical path right now. Like, that's it. If critical path is defined what's actually going to keep us from achieving our goal based on real life situations, then holy hell, you better go chase after that 20%. But, that's just me.
That's just an old, well-oiled, seasoned, experienced person. Let's go to Juan. Juan, what do you think?
And I believe that you should be able to direct your team, your foremen or your crew to where the CPN guides you as well, right? So align with all the last planner system, all your boards and all your whatever you use, but you have to be able to make sure that the CPN is there, right? So because if your PPC is 80%, but your critical path is behind, so you're not guiding the team correctly. I don't know, that's why I see it. So you have to be able to, you are the advocate of the schedule, right? So you have to bring that up, right? So
that's right. All right, looks like Adam's got something to throw up here.
I guess I don't like we're still talking about critical path in both those answers and even the question. In my opinion, I'm being dead serious. That was not a dad joke by any means.
That's why I was posed.
I think Jen. I think that superintendent is dead on right. I think it speaks to a philosophical difference between is it 80% of what we're supposed to hit or 100% of what we're supposed to hit. And to me, we're measuring the accuracy of our planning ability. And if we're hitting 80%, we're getting a B. And that B's are okay, but they're not great. And right. So I would challenge our thinking as an industry. And I've had, Hal does a lean coffee on Thursdays, and we had this conversation a few weeks back. I hate PPC. I hate that statistic so much because what is that measuring? It's measuring what's done, right? Well, we're a continuous improvement and learning organization, and we're driving lean, and so that doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is the PPI or the plan percent that's incomplete, and more importantly than what's incomplete, why was it incomplete? So we can fix it so it's done being incomplete. So I agree wholeheartedly with that superintendent that, hey, if I'm missing 20%, that might be the most critical roadblocks that release the most stuff, and then I'm in big trouble. So if I'm scheduling something, I'm going to hit it 100% every time. There's no question.
So Adam, every time I hear someone equate PPC to letter grades, in my mind, I hear that record stretch. Let me jack that up a little bit louder for you. PPC is not letter grades. They are not letter grade equivalent. Thank you, Jason. That was a perfectly timed cough. In regular CPM scheduling, the likelihood that any activity scheduled is achieved only has a 48 to 52% chance based on multiple studies on thousands of projects over decades. Yeah. It's a coin flip. I've got the coin right here. That's all you get is a coin flip's worth of accuracy. However, planning is important. And I'm not saying don't plan. And I'm not saying don't have a schedule. I didn't say that. I know people are going to edit this video and say, no schedule. Felipe said no schedule. It's not what I said. Don't take it out of context. I will push people back to the full video and show you have to plan. PPC helps people to see how reliable they're connecting on what they've set out to do. And I've seen teams, Adam, even with the PPC of 60%, still gain on the schedule that was planned and make up time and speed up and accelerate
because they're hitting the activities that release the most, right? They're
because they're focused on, in their last plan implementation, they're focused on Jason and mine and Spencer and Jesse's and Juan's and Jennifer's and probably yours most favorite thing in the world, the F word. What's that F word that we love, Jason? And it's not
flow.
That's the one.
Can you put waves at the
bottom?
The one. Come on, Felipe. I know you've got waves that can go into the bottom of this chat here.
I don't actually. I can't wave the video, but no, it's flow. A PPC has its point, and if you're analyzing, you're running a team as a facilitator or a superintendent, and you're looking at PPC, like Adam mentioned, there are other things to look at, other things to check into, and we've got a comment from Hal. And Hal's bringing this. He's saying that it's percent promises complete or the inverse PPI is an improvement indicator. So if you're
feedback.
Right, if it's just feedback. So you have to take action with it and do something with it. As far as the thing being the critical path, I completely disagree with that. And I completely disagree with in the last plan implementation that some activities that you might miss, someone is deeming critical. You're bringing back in that CPM algorithm language. And all of us who've ever been on construction know that there are a nearly infinite number of ways to get it built. We got another comment from the chat. Thank you so much, Hal, for bringing that up. Let's react to Sergey says that it's easy to start using PPC to blame trades. Ooh, blaming trades. Let's get.
I've heard this.
Weaponizing
here. There are consultants who are reporting PPC to clients. It's a shame. Yes, it is. Who's got something on this to talk to Sergey?
I do. Please. Agreed. PPC becomes, we weaponize it, right? And start, this is my favorite thing. And full disclosure, right? I am officially on the GC side of the business now. It's been about 3 years.
What? You work for GC?
You traitor.
Yes, he's come to the dark side.
I am part of the dark side. So PPC, my favorite thing to hear is when the general contractor comes to the trade meeting and says, this is y'all's PPC. Go faster. And it's like, come on, fool. That ain't it's our PPC. And we are all contributing to the success and the failure that we are experiencing. And I have constraints that that you need to help with. And you're not doing your part of the deal. So this number that you're hung up on isn't helping anything. So to tell me, hey, you missed your plan, you were supposed to have all the fixtures set on second floor by Friday, and tell me to get better does not help me if the tile contractor who is not under my purview has not grouted the damn wall. So it's not my PPC, it's our PPC. Quit pointing the damn finger, get your ass out of the trailer and go do something about it.
Sorry, explicit.
Sorry.
I'm with you, Jesse.
Thank you, Sergey, for lighting him up. We got Spencer, I want to add on, and then I'm going to go to the comments again. Go ahead.
Jesse, there's two words there. What was happening in that situation that you're talking about was a word called push, right? Yep. When we know that flow is what we're going for, that's mic drop right there. Because yep. when we feel like we have control over the situation, we're like, you will go do this thing. That's construction of the past. That is not construction moving forward.
And what Jesse said and what Spencer said, that come down to the very simple form is it's a process problem, not a people problem. And then when it comes to the process and not the person that you can blame and you can point to, it's a game changer.
You got it.
And maybe they are not clear, right? So they don't have they don't know the right. Well, maybe we don't have the right sequence. They don't know the plan well, right? So because they don't have the flow, so it is a lot of factors that can be affecting that.
Oh, Jason, aren't you feeling so proud?
Yeah. I don't know if you're going to the comments, but the biggest problem, it sounds like, when projects start to crash land, and I get asked, and this is just data, but I get asked to come in and help contractors a lot recover their projects. I always do it with either implementing TACT, or if we're at the very end and it's like there's no, I'll implement Scrum with the team, right? And so whatever if the supply chains are less of a thing, I go immediately to Scrum. If the supply chains are still in play, then it immediately goes into TACT. And here's what I see. I'll be quick about this. People are like, yeah, we're using the last planner system. We're doing our pull plans. We're doing our weekly work plans. We're tracking PPC. But in the meeting, if you watch them, the trades will say, well, I could commit to that if I had ... I could commit to that if they were out of my ... Like, it's all of the supply chain stuff. It's all of the people in front of them, right? And if we don't get everybody on a synchronous pattern on a rhythm with flow, then they just can't succeed. And if we can't get materials here for Jesse on time, then he can't succeed and they can't commit. That's why we just have to, I'm just going to say it, we have to get tact plans as our master schedules and get CPM out of there.
Yes,
Because the 80% thing with PPC was because the 80%, I'm near the cutting edge or the bleeding edge, or if I have 100%, then I'm sandbagging. You don't need to cutting edge or sandbag if you know your syncopathic rhythm. If you know the rhythm where everybody's on a flow, then you can target 100%, and you can make sure people like Jess are set up. So that's my comment.
Well, I just want to add one. I want to add one more thing. I know we're about to move on. No, but I think another thing that is not addressed, and I'm sure we love to say that the last planners implemented from CPM to pool planning. We'd love to say that would help drive a lot of this. But when you can do cafeteria lean and you can pick and choose, I want to have all my trades at the board and make commitments and have accountability, but they had no say and what drives that board and what drives gets put on then you want to hold them accountable to something that they didn't even say could happen. We're missing that part, which I know we're not digging into that piece, but we've got to remember it's a process and we can't make parts of the process.
Agreed.
No, definitely. And so go ahead, Jason.
I was just going to say, to be clear, when I say tact planning, the pull plans should become your tact sequences, and that the throughput, your tact trains, your throughput time should be calculated with your trades, and the flow held by the trades contractually together, so that when we hit the weekly work plan, we're jamming. So I want to be clear that I'm supporting what Jennifer's saying.
And complement that with Scrum, so you can keep track of all your roadblocks and all that stuff. I really love the Scrum as a complement of tact planning and last planner system. I really love that.
There you go.
And Jennifer, you were the one that said, all these tools do different things, and why not take the best of each tool for what it does best, right? And CPM's really good database, so let's put it in the corner and let it be a database in the corner.
And so we've got Carla. Carla, thank you for the comment. We love the engagement from the audience. People in the audience, keep it coming. We love it.
Yeah.
Who says we are absolutely right, Carla. We are habit machines. Us people, we are. And making change a habit is something that I'm hyper focused on. I tell people, you know what the natural state of the human being is? It's being learning and adaptive. That's the natural state. And then through conditioning, we stop people from having that beautiful state. So let's bring it back. Let's be like Jason's 11 kids and be highly adaptive and changing.
Absolutely. Oh, and Jesse, if you've got a super that's blaming the trades, have him read my book, because I'm sure it's a him. Have him read my book, Elevating Construction Superintendents. Or send him to a boot camp. We'll straighten him right up for you.
And speaking of that boot camp, we do have a comment from Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie, for joining us on this beautiful Saturday morning. We'd like some explanation of tact, and if it, go ahead and start to explain it, and at the end, give some links. We'll put it in the show notes for people to get more information, because we're not going to be able to do it justice here. But go ahead.
I can do it in like 30 seconds. So in a CPM schedule, you can see only one thing, workflow, and it's in sequences, and it becomes long, and you just can't see the other two types of flow. In a tact plan, each area, each tact zone, let's say this is 5,000 square feet or 10,000 square feet, is summarized in a tact sequence, and then every other area is shown below it at a rhythm of production, which becomes your tact time or your rate of throughput. And so in a single line, you'll see trade 1, trade 2, trade 3, trade 4. Now here's the genius. You can see the workflow, you can see the trade flow through the system, and you can see the logistical flow. So you can see all three types of flow in that system, where the contractors can buy into it, plan it, add buffers, and hold it. So flow where you can, pull when you can't, and stop pushing. So flow systems are tact, Scrum, Last Planner is a pull system. So flow and pull are great. Push is bad. We've got to stop doing it. So when contractors collaborate on a TACT plan, they are agreeing to hold those segments in a syncopathic rhythm together with flow. The last thing I would say, when you imagine a pull plan, each one of those TACT trains becomes a pull plan, and pull plans can only show workflow until you compare them together, and then you can see trade flow and logistical flow.
Oh, one thing to add to that, Stephanie, you probably understand CPM, so I'll kind of contrast the two one step further. Critical path is resource efficiency. Legitimately, you're asking what can this resource do, and you're seeing that it's different, and it is like a bottleneck or the longest path to get you to a milestone or to the end, whatever it is. TACT is flow efficiency, where you're looking like Jason just said, you're looking at the production as a whole, not necessarily one contractor, but how all of them in sequence flow through all the space. So it's really looking at completely different stuff. One's looking at resource efficiency. How can you make a trade, that singular trade, the most efficient, versus how can you make the entire system and flow the most efficient?
Which means that resource efficiency and flow efficiency need to be both at high levels. In order for us to have a really good program and good throughput, we have to have high resource efficiency and high flow efficiency together. That's what TACT planning allows you to do. And you can check it out on leantact.com or the YouTube site Lean Tact or our book.
And
you can help you.
And you can save time as well. That blows my mind, that the last video that you guys shared, where you guys compare, like, that you can save 5 days, like, with the just like splitting in more areas. It blew my mind.
It's pretty cool. There's math behind it.
The Germans are reporting that they can get up to 71% better schedules.
Wow.
Some companies in the go ahead.
From the Hoots, though, I just wanted to give some Hoots love here. Adam says all the tools, the concepts, and the strategies got to come from true respect for the people, or they'll drive non-ideal behavior. 100% agree, Adam.
And on that point, Felipe, I'd like to ask a question to the group.
Yeah, do it.
And Jason, you sparked this question. You know, we talked about push is bad. Now, I've seen push. How should I say, contort the last planner system, which is designed to establish pull. So push makes its way into it because of, I'm going to say, human nature. So is TACT planning like safe from being corrupted by push mentality?
So well, is somebody else want to answer, or can I?
Come on.
Go, Jason.
So TACT is not a push system. It's a holding system. It's a flowing system, meaning everyone agrees to hold the syncopathic rhythm, the flow of the project. It is safe. I will say that, you know, when people talk about CPM, even Adam's comment, and I love you, Adam, I'm sorry you're not here. When people are like, well, people are using CPM wrong. What are we doing again? We're blaming people now again, like Jennifer said not to do, instead of the process. I have seen projects and people implement TACT planning without even really knowing the system and accidentally win. And to be honest with you, like when I first saw Felipe teach about Scrum, I didn't know the system. I started using it. I started accidentally winning with it, right? Same thing with Last Planner when I started using it. Same thing with TACT. I've been using TACT for 10 years, and I had no idea about the formulas Juan was just talking about, which are great. And I have accidentally, by virtue of the system, I've never finished a project behind schedule as a superintendent ever. And it's because I used those systems. And people will use CPM and accidentally fail 74% of the time. And so my comment is the Last Planner system, Scrum, will never be fully supported until we get TACT out ahead of it, managing and preparing the supply chains for those systems.
I want to create I guess, reference an analogy, and it's a very simple analogy, but to me, it's like when we do CPM, it's just like, okay, we're making a cake. and we know the end product, we want the cake. And we know that throughout the process, we know that we're going to know what ingredients need to be in there. We may even identify how much of those ingredients need to happen. Eventually, if you play around with them long enough, you're going to know you're going to get what you want. But if you can figure out the order of the ingredients and how you're adding them in, and people can visually see that, then all of a sudden at the end, you have this amazing product that go, well, I didn't realize by just putting that here or flowing here or letting it sit for 5 minutes, the impact of what can happen in the end.
That's right.
And Juan,
go ahead, Jason.
I seriously didn't mean to interrupt. So Juan once said, we were arguing about this on a superintendent webinar once, and people were teasing me about CPM, and we were having a good time with it, but they were getting after me. And Juan came to my defense, and he said, you can learn to walk on a broken leg, but why would you do that? Like, why don't you just fix the leg? And so to Jennifer's point, we're last planner, Scrum, anybody on a CPM job, you're learning to walk with a broken leg, and we have to fix that leg if we want to get there. It's just like that 5S game simulation. You can get used to the chaos and get all the way to number 39, but you can't get 100% of that game won until you have a sequence like Jennifer's talking about.
And you don't even know that the cake's not great if you're used to doing the stuff on a broken leg. Like it's we got a product. And it's a good product because we did what we said. So it could be a better product. It can be improved if we're doing things in the flow. So anyway.
Absolutely love
And
that.
I have something to add.
Go ahead, Juan, and then I'll give my Ben Franklin
No me
quote.
grites.
Perdóname,
No te
Jason.
esponjes, Juan, no te esponjes.
Háblale, Juan, háblale.
So, and I believe tag is more for people, right? Because why? So, and I was looking at this like a couple days ago. So, there is a way that you can give more duration to the trades and decreasing the overall duration. So, like in construction, we face like that the trades doesn't have enough duration. We have this like impossible schedules, and with tag, you can give them more time. You can add the buffer, but still you can finish earlier, right? So I love that because you have like the flows allows you to have this, right? So I really love that.
Absolutely love that one. It was worth the wait. What did you get, Juan?
I just don't know why he's yelling at me. That's the only thing. Like, you got to calm down.
Because we're still talking about it. We haven't done it yet, so let's go do it.
Let's go do the damn thing.
All of these tools that we're talking about, and I'm going to bring up some controversy from the comments in a second, but just remember the wisdom of Benjamin Franklin. Everything has a place and everything in its place. And he learned that from a French person. So
it must be true.
So we've got Sergey coming in. Tag planning is a push system. If a tag plan is created before the trades are there, after nominating the trades, they're just told to follow the tag plan. It's also a shame. Jesse.
Man, thank you, Sergey, because you're speaking my love language, baby. I feel like all these systems in their design are beautiful, and then you put damn people into the system and it gets all jacked up. and you know, like last planner system, my early experiences with last planner system is I felt like the general contractors were using it to fix the trades, and they behave that way. I mean, there's still language I hear every once in a while, like, well, it's their opportunity to give input. It's like, no, dummy, they're not giving you input. They're telling you exactly the way it's going to happen, and you just need to receive it, right? So again, it gets twisted. And back to the tag planning, and when everyone contributes to the plan, all the people, all the stakeholders that are going to be expending energy to achieve the goal, then you have an agreed upon plan. But if some clown sits in the corner and puts the damn thing together and tells everybody sign here, and the BD manager says, absolutely, great idea, we can deliver, you're going to have the same damn outcome on the job site. Sorry.
So if somebody did that, That's obviously wrong, but look at this. If a contractor did that without your knowledge and put it on a tact plan to where you could actually see it in pre-construction, and you receive that when you bid that job, you can immediately respond and know what you're dealing with. So that, in contrast to a CPM schedule where you're like, I don't know what the hell this thing says or where I'm supposed to be, when you're like, I guess it's going to be okay. So you're kind of proving my point with this. If the contractor did that and they put it on a tact plan, you at least know the game, and it's your job to work with. So it's a contractor's job to coordinate with the trades. That's how you do tact planning. You don't do it in a silo. But if the contractor did that, at least you can now see it and either say, whoa, let's collaborate, or no, don't bid the job, or bid it with the right resources. So
Okay,
thank you for proving my point.
So two things also that just came up in this discussion. I want to take like 10 steps backwards. So we go in to pursue work and procure work, and we're asked to create a schedule that sometimes we're held very close to. And so two things. It's number one, do we have the relationships with our trades and know that there's trust there so that we're getting good information? And number two is those clients and those owners that are holding us to something that was created without a full team. So again, those are two very big things.
And the future of IPD and these contracts that bring those trades in early as stakeholders, as equal partners at the table, that's also a way to achieve getting away from, that top-down push mentality. So that's 100% true.
Because you can't not have a plan. Everybody knows that. You have to have a plan. And so the question is, which one gives you the best visibility so that you can collaborate as a team? Is it the tool that you can't see, or is it the tool that you can? And back to the lead thing, if you have a contractor that still won't coordinate with the trades, then they have a lead deficiency, and they need a lead bullet. I'm just kidding. That was a bad joke. That was a bad joke.
They can just go do a better job somewhere else. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. You're invited to leave.
There you go. And Hal's got a blog post out there talking about how much shorter these can be using these types of tools and methods. So shout out to you, Hal. But I
love Hal.
We got the Hoots. Hoots is out here with a question here. Does TAC establish Scrum sprinkles for the project? Could TAC be looked at as a project Scrum board? Spencer voraciously shaking his head. Take it, Spencer.
Absolutely. And usually we don't plug softwares, but the Germans have been creating a system called tacting. And they actually use Scrum methodologies within one of their modules, because the cards or the actual tact wagons or work packages can become your Scrum board. And it's actually amazing to see. Well, everyone's trying to address the same problems from different angles, and we all come to the same conclusion that it has to be visual, it has to increase flow, it has to be those things. And just like Jason was talking about earlier, the reason why we focus on CPM and the next thing you talk about is tact is because CPM is that overall schedule. And even in the last planner system, it says use CPM to establish your milestones, right? And then from there, you go into the system of pull it, right, and all that. We're saying establish your milestones based on the system that actually you can see flow, and you know that any overlaps that you have are true, and it's not going to put any contractor in a bind from too much stacking or too much manpower that he or she might not have. So yes, absolutely. Even with Last Planner or Scrum, you can establish those milestones or those goals, and it becomes very visual. So you can see that goal, you know what's supposed to happen, and then you pull it into either a Scrum board, or you can use tools that kind of establish that Scrum within it, like tacting. So yes.
Absolutely love that. And I think from my perspective, ladies and gentlemen, it's all Scrum. I'm looking at a Scrum board. When I see a Last Planner board, I'm looking at a Scrum board. When I see a Scrum board, I'm still looking at a Scrum board.
That's awesome. Oh man, you really don't know scheduling until you know Scrum. I'll say that.
Yeah.
There you go. You heard it here. Jason said it. I think Jason, we got to just raise the roof on that, because we cannot say enough good things about Scrum.
I think the sex appeal of tact and scrum is the visual representation of what the hell is ahead of us and what we're going to be tackling right now. It is the making it visible, easily, quickly, rapid digestion that we can adjust in the moment. So not against it. I feel like, how do we help people adopt a pull mentality, or rather a flow mentality?
Yeah, baby.
Right? It's the flow mentality that we need to achieve. And all of these systems are vehicles to get there. And we got a long way to go. But with y'all, like with our powers combined, we're going to make it happen, baby. Watch out.
Yeah, was that a Captain Planet reference?
Yes.
I'm old enough to know that.
I want to add just real quick. Everything we're saying is, and it comes down, and again, it's so simple in my mind. It's when we create the foundation of the culture and the culture and the culture and the respect and the people and the culture, then the tools and the processes, we'll find a way to make it work. But when the focus is on the tools and the processes, the culture gets broken. The culture it's where the attack comes and the push and we're beating people, and we've got to realize the culture has to be created. When I'm working with my friends and people that I respect and people that I want to succeed, then you're going to find the way for that to flow.
Yes, you are.
Me, Jennifer, you complete me.
And then,
unless you're using CPM,
the culture is completely invisible. Yeah, we'll say CPM a couple more times. I won't let it go through. So a lot of people say that culture is completely invisible, but it's not. You can see how people are behaving. It is visual. You can absolutely see it. We talked about this many times. You can just tell from all the people's smiling faces here on screen what type of culture you make where they go, right?
And you can measure it. Just so you know, you can. It's not like this intangible thing that's floating out there with magical sparkle glitter stuff. It's not. Like, you can measure it.
Absolutely. And then you measure it because Adam Hoots coming in from the chat. We want to make it better. Thank you, Adam. Perfect timing.
And you can't improve that what you can't measure, right? The thing is, it is hard to figure out how to measure it, and that's something that we can teach. Yes. And we can learn, and where our focus needs to be is understanding what to measure so that we can improve those things.
Right.
So just call Jennifer. Seriously.
So absolutely.
I'm still trying to figure it out, but I'm telling you, I pose this question to everyone that it's like, how do you measure the quality of implementation? And I'm not limiting that to very tangible tools. I'm limiting that to nothing. Like, how do you measure the quality of implementation? And when you look at that from tact all the way down to, a pull plan, doesn't matter. How do you measure the quality? And again, that's a continuous improvement all the time. How do we continually make that?
Let's ask Jennifer that. Jennifer, how do you measure how effective your facilitations are?
Well, number one, absolutely. At the end of every single one of them, I do a plus delta, and I focus on, hey, it's great. Everyone loves to have people tell you how the things that were amazing. But I tell them, I'm like, that's great. I will acknowledge those, but I want to know what sucked. I want to know what could have been better. I want to know what was missing and how next time when I do this with another group, it's going to be better. And again, you can tell some of them are looking like what I'm like, no, I need to know those things. Those are the things that are going to make us better. And it's a mentality, just like it is when we talk about uncomfortable and, I don't know, I don't want to tell somebody something that's going to hurt their feelings. Like I again push that, and even some of them will come up and kind of, no, just put it. I want it on the plus delta because we want everyone to see. And when you're doing a half day facilitation and most of the deltas are this should have been a full day, I'm like, win. Like this, yes. So again, it's a simple one. Plusdelta.app. I'm going to give just because it's free and you can do it virtually and you can do it in a room. You can do it with a phone and a QR code. It's huge. And I do it for everything. And now you can look at trends over multiple Plus Delta facilitations and what things that are high, that you see a lot of or you don't see a lot of, and being able to tackle those because continuous improvement all the time.
all the time.
And you can hear that Jennifer's a little bit frustrated because I bet she never gets told any deltas because she's just amazing.
No.
Thank you for that.
Push.
So I'd like to add on to the plus delta, because I think in this group, we absolutely understand what that means, and kind of like the PPC conversation. What do you do after you get it? And so the power in the plus delta is not writing crap on the wall. The power is taking action to close the gap on the deltas. That is the power. So just because you drew on the wall, you ain't done nothing yet. You got to go and get your stuff together and figure out how to close that gap and make it suck less for the next group that you're going to be in front of.
And that happened in we have monthly calls with our champions and our advocates. And one of the deltas was, Jennifer, these are great, but you never talk about the departments. I'm like, well, crap, you're absolutely right. So the next one, we highlighted a department and what they were doing and the things that they were engaged in, and the engagement just in that conversation. It's like, it's great. You can't ask questions and then not follow through with what people are asking for. And some of them you can't do. Some of them, they're just not, and you have to have that conversation too. But a lot of them are small things that people go, well, crap, she listened to me. Well, now I want to be able to do something with that.
Yes.
And we want to open up this comment to we're not just going to pick on Jennifer. Anybody can take this, but Stephanie is saying, bring him back from Charlie Dunn, one of Juan's compadres, is saying that the deltas sometimes get lost. For anybody to answer, not just Jennifer, how do we track these lessons learned and apply them to our next projects or engagements? Let's go to Juan first.
On the spot.
Well, I was actually about to ask, how can you implement the plus and delta culture, like for last planner sessions, for pool planning, for performance meetings, for all the stuff, all the meetings that you use in construction?
Look at Jason. Take it. Oh, Jason.
You can scrum those things, baby. You can scrum those things from left to right, baby. This is my delta. We fixed it. It's over to complete. Just go ahead.
No, but how can you implement like that? You get feedback from your team, like from the foremen, from superintendents.
Take it, Jesse.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna explode over here. Budget 10 minutes at the end of every one of those damn meetings. Like that agenda item is for plus deltas, and be explicit about what the plus is for and what the delta's for. Guide the team and say, we're going to start with pluses. I want to understand what we did that was fabulous besides my beautiful shirt, so that we can continue that forward. And also the deltas, what do we need to do to make this thing better so the next people don't get tortured as badly as you did? You write them down, and then at the next meeting, the very next meeting, you come back and you say, these were the deltas that I received, and I have taken these steps on those deltas. Thank you for that. And at the end of this meeting, we're going to do another round of that. And just do that for every damn meeting. It's uncomfortable at first because it's foreign. You're going to get very superficial. Well, this was good. I wish we had better tacos. You're going to
Jesse's shirt was beautiful.
Right. Jesse's shirt was fabulous. His hair,
which is legitimate.
Right.
Yeah. Those are legitimate pluses.
They are. But it's building that practice at the end of every single meeting, so that you build that culture, to Jennifer's statement, the culture of seeking feedback and, more importantly, acting upon it. If you don't take any action on it, you're wasting people's time. Don't even do it.
Can I take it one step further?
Wait, go
ahead.
I want to add to what he just said. It goes back to the question earlier. I think it was Sergey that said, but we can't use it as an attack. We can't ask for the feedback. We listen. There we go. There's Sergey. We can't listen to them and then go and say, and then attack them with it. Like, if we're asking for it, then the respect has to be there, but the listening has to be, and here it was, and here's how we address it, or here's how we can address it because of this. At least have the dialogue, and don't just let it go into this black hole. Okay, go for it.
Right. And just like Carla said, Juan, it's a habit. If you've been operating in the habit of not doing the plus delta, and now you're going to introduce one, practice some patience with yourself. Take a page out of Jesse's book. Powerful Jesse, Jesus. said, put 10 minutes at the end of the meeting, make the space for it. And if 10 minutes is too big, Juan, start with 5 minutes. And if 5 minutes is too big, do it in 2 minutes. But do take the time and make it happen. Thank you, Carla, for reminding me.
My blood pressure just went down.
With the music coming up and that smooth jazz voice, it was like
I could go to sleep.
I'm gonna just. I'm kind of surprised. Before you do that, I just got to give a shout out to somebody in the audience right now. It's somebody's birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday!
Campbell, happy birthday!
Brittany Campbell's amazing.
With Marcus.
She's amazing.
Happy birthday, Brittany and Marcus. And you just make sure that she has a good birthday. Otherwise, you're dead to her. I just want to give a shout out. I know it's her birthday today. So people, light her up in the chat and wish her happy birthday right now. You're still here. I see 8 of you still here. Come on, let's go.
Come on.
So I want to kind of go off of what Jesse was saying even further. So it's not just meetings; it's everything we do. Legitimately, I've found it to apply anywhere, and any good tool can be applied anywhere. So in my personal organization system, I legitimately do Last Planner. I do a weekly work plan for myself with my tasks and time block stuff out. I do a phase plan, and I'm looking 6 months out with where I'm going, and I figure those things out. So legitimately, if you can take, if you know the tool is good, you can apply it anywhere in life. And same with the plus delta. We do this when we sit down with schedulers at Oakland. I sit, and at the end of when we're going through either just a check-in or whatever, I ask them for this sit down between you and I, what's the plus delta? How could I improve? And plus delta is always, if you're sitting there facilitating, it's always an inward. What could I do better? What could we as the company or whatever do better? And I do that in my marriage. I do that with my kids. So plus delta really is a mindset of looking for that continuous improvement. It's that delta of what we can change. It's not just meetings, it's everything. And that's always good. Scrum, anything that is a great tool can be applied anywhere in life. And that's the litmus test is, can it be applied everywhere? And does it bring value? Plus delta is crucial for continuous improvement because it shows where the deltas are. So we have to have that mindset in order to gain that knowledge of how to improve. And just like Jesse said, we know the knowledge. The next step is action.
And Spencer, and what you didn't say is that means we have to stop and realize we don't have all the answers and that we're not perfect. And that's a hard thing for a lot of people to walk into a conversation. So yes.
Yep.
Wouldn't that be funny if we said all this about plus deltas and didn't do one for the show? That would be epic.
We've had it's almost like you're reading the chat. And I was like, don't be reading that chat, Jason.
What chat? I don't even know how to read.
In the YouTube chat, Mr. Hoots has asked multiple times that we do a plus delta in the chat. So we can absolutely do it. I think we're not going to use the app, Adam, just to not break the internet. We're going to go live. We're going to close this down and go around the horn here. So let's go around the horn. Just give us out loud what you like, what you didn't like. People in the chat, you please go ahead and do your plus deltas in the chat, and I will bring them live on the stream. People watching the replay, after you watch this, leave us a comment. Give us a plus sign. Tell us something you loved about this. Changemakers, construction, Saturday morning spectacular special, and then give us a minus for something that you didn't like so we can try without success to make Jesse cry himself to sleep.
Or something that was missing that maybe when we do this again, we'll make sure that we bring it into the show.
Or what Jennifer said. It's your choice. So let's start with, we'll go reverse order. We'll go Jesse first.
Oh my goodness. I'll start with plus. The plus, one plus was the energy in the room. I think everybody was up and ready to bring it, baby. Another plus is tolerance, because I know sometimes for me, I'm appreciative of y'all letting me speak the way I speak, because I have a way about me. Delta, I think we would better serve our audience if
I'm so sorry. You were getting muted the whole time, Jesse. What were we going to say?
You just exemplified what my delta. My delta, I think we would provide a better experience for the audience if we had a system in place so that we weren't talking over each other and people could finish their thoughts and expand on other people's thoughts more completely. That's me, baby. Next.
Love it. Then we'll jump to the audience, and then we'll go back on this stage here. Hal said he'd love the interaction among us and with the audience too. You're welcome, Hal. Don't be afraid to give us a -2. We know you got some. Let's go to Jennifer next.
So again, my plus is always that we have a group of people like this in one place that people can watch and watch the interaction and see that it's not just stuff on the boards and it's not just spreadsheets and things like that. Like there's people, and that's what it's made up of. So number one. And number two, I'm gonna say that what Jesse said as a delta, I almost feel that it was a plus for me because it was more real. Like if all of us were sitting in a room without an audience, it would have been interrupting. It would have been, well, wait, no, you stop. I'm going to do this. So again, to me, that was a plus on this one, even though it probably is maybe a little frustrating to someone that's listening in or watching from the outside. And then the delta is I struggle because you always have to have a delta, but I feel like some of the things that we talked about, maybe going to Jesse, is that maybe we could expound on them a little bit more, even though the time frame was kind of limiting. But I love that we kept kind of taking one topic and then going to another one and going to another one because of the conversation. So
I love that. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Let's go to the chat here. We've got one from Brittany. She loved the diversity as a plus. Shout out for her birthday. Energy on a Saturday morning.
yes.
And then we'll go back to the chat in a second. Let's go to Justin. Plus Delta, Justin. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you. I'd say the plus is definitely your radio voice. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
you know,
That was my plus.
I can't get enough of it. I couldn't stop listening, even when I couldn't get on the internet. So that was a plus. So thank you. And I'd say the other is completely the engagement. I think what everybody has here. Let's engage for life. It's a real way of going after it. So I think the energy and the passion that everybody has, I would definitely put that there. And I'm not really big on being negative on Saturdays. Call me on Monday.
Love that. Thank you, Justin.
Fair enough. Thanks, guys.
For the audience, we had Mark or Jason here. This is all for you, Jason, from Mark Jones here. So did very well. All right, let's go to Juan. Plus Delta.
Juan. I have a couple pluses. So first, it was a diversity, the engagement that you guys all have. Like Jason it was in the McDonald's, so trying to just join the group, right? So I love that. Okay, so he's somewhere else now. Okay, Starbucks.
Yeah, free advertising for Starbucks. I love them.
I want my royalties.
Nobody would be at McDonald's, Juan. Like that was an insult. You're not better than me.
McDonald's is the CPM of food chain.
Okay, so diversity. So I'm not a super lean expert, but I'm here trying to implement all that you guys are sharing. So I love that. The energy. Felipe is like, you're doing a good job, like handling all this. Thank you for the effort. Maybe a delta. Maybe we can have like an agenda for next time where we can have like different topics.
Watch out.
There we go.
And another delta, the last delta, I missed the confetti.
No.
Let's go back to the chat. Stephanie said she'd love to see more visuals to describe the concepts. That is a beautiful delta, Stephanie. We're definitely coming back with visuals, so we love that. Let's go to Spencer.
All right. So my plus for this meeting is that we bash CPM, which is always a great time. And I get to say that because I'm a career CPM guru. Legitimately, I'm a scheduling manager, and so I get to say that because honestly, I'd be okay with with that tool kind of fading into the background a little bit. So that's obviously a plus. I love to hear from everyone on this team. I learn anytime I'm with you. Thank you for being willing to share. It's amazing to be here and part of this. And the delta would be the interaction with the audience would be one step further if we invite people to leave a comment, and if they would like to join us somehow, they kind of connect, and Felipe, you could add them, like legitimately add their video in to ask a question. It'd become actually live and actually interactive, so they could, we can actually respond and then pull them back out of the chat. Like that would be a fun, I don't know if that's possible with the system, but that would be a cool way to actually bring them in, because just like everything, visual is better than not being visual. Pictures are better than words. Videos way better than pictures, right? So right. Bringing them in video wise would be amazing.
You and Stephanie are on the same wavelength. I love that. Let's go back to a positive from Stephanie. She said she loved the tons of experience we have. So we love that. It's just some improvement heaven right here with all of y'all. Let's go to Jason.
Okay, so plus Jesse's shirt, plus Jesse's hair, plus Jesse's explicit language. I think you're gonna have to mark this show as not for children. Just FYI. And my only delta is we ruined my Saturday by starting out the gate with CPM. That was it. But your voice was what I would expect to hear from the heavens. So Felipe, great job with that.
You're welcome, Jason. Let's go back out to the crowd. We've got Sergey saying he loved the mood, the great talk, the delta, more sessions with such great guests. Sergey, I don't know how that's a delta. So we'll bring more people in. You got to come back in the chat and expand on that delta. Do you want more sessions? Because this experiment, Juan, just proved that further sessions shall be had. So we love that. And let's go.
I want to add another plus.
Oh, go ahead.
But because I like to create controversy, and I don't like to do status quo stuff. So anyway, for one, I like that we didn't have an agenda, because in my mind, when you're doing a live stream, it's so easy, and we fall into that. What are the questions? What can I prepare for? What can I get ready for? And then it doesn't show just this natural back and forth. And maybe it's a balance of the two, but I like that I have no idea what I'm about to get asked, because then it's like, okay, then it's real. And then it's, again, that live piece of it is for me. I told Felipe, I was like, I'm so used to just off the cuff that I'm like, okay, do I need to prepare for this? I'm not sure. And I think that's been the fun of it.
Yeah. And transparency, if there was an agenda, I wouldn't read it. So we're good.
I mean,
that sounds just like a couple of trade partners I'm working with. Right now.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly, people, click on the description of the video. You'll see the agenda that Jesse ignored. And I also do a screenshot of the calendar invite where he ignored the agenda as well.
Yeah.
So that's all there. I was going to bring
overproduction.
Yeah, Brittany says, shout out to the schedule managers. CPM sucks. Wow.
Me and Brittany are on the same wavelength, baby.
Schedulers of the world, don't come after me. I'm only reading what an owner and a scheduler said and agreed on today. It's a superintendent.
A superintendent said that too.
And a trade manager and another superintendent.
Yeah.
And an executive. And Justin, who's a master human being. Masterful. Powerful Justin. Ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing the show down close. It has been just a tremendous pleasure to have all of you on here. And I think I say, like, I've been having a blast with y'all. But this is the part of the show where it's the end. Where Felipe's like, what channel is this on? If you don't know what channel you're on, let's just pause for a second so you can recognize where you're at in the world.
The EBFC show exists to serve people in the construction industry.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That's where you're at. You're on my channel on YouTube. So thank you so much giving us all of that love. Let's play it out here in the way that I love to play it out. Ladies and gentlemen, very special thanks to all my guests. Jason, Spencer, Juan, Jennifer, Jesse, Justin, and let's not forget the dad of the day, Mr. Adam Hoots. Have a great day, everybody. Let's be safe out there. Let's go build. Say bye, y'all.
Bye.
See you guys later.
All right, y'all.
Yes.